And now it's time for
Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Bold.
Allow myself to introduce myself.
Bold predictions.
Presented by Stay Woke Sports.
Boldest podcast on the East Coast. Lil Stevie, I am ready to rock and bold.
We rocking and bowling out here, baby.
Oh, yeah. Episode 13 in the building. Kurt Warner, shout out. Let's go.
Nice. Shout out Tyreek Evans, former Rookie of the Year.
Dab. Tyreek Evans from the clouds. But anyways, got a great episode for you. A lot going on this week, Lil Stevie. We've got all sorts of good things planned. Want to give a shout out to those folks over at Public House Media. I found out what their slogan was. It is, we all have a voice. So
Yes.
We all have a voice.
Literally, we do all have a voice. I mean, and also figuratively, we started a podcast. You could do it.
Yeah, unless you don't have a voice.
Yeah,
Ooh.
no disrespect. We're not trying to offend anybody.
Yeah, well, we're just happy you have ears, so you're listening to us. Anyways, we got some housekeeping. Koozies and stickers are on the way. We're just gonna keep hyping them, but they are coming. But there won't be a whole lot. There won't be a million of them. There'll be a select few. So if you want your stickers and your koozies, shoot us a text. Post on our Facebook page and just say, hey, I want a sticker and a koozie, and we'll make sure you get those in your hand to keep your hands nice and warm. Also, go ahead and follow Public Media House. Wow, that's really bad. I probably should know, but hey, you know what? We all have a voice. We all have a voice.
It's very on brand to be flubbing up the brand name.
Very on brand. It's influencer marketing, as we like to call it.
Yes.
But anyways, follow Stay Woke Sports as well. Shout out to those guys. Want to plug a couple podcasts as well, because we're friends of podcasts. We're podcast guys. That's what we are. Tejas and Lil Stevie. Obviously, Lil Stevie, we already know, is on our podcast. He does double duty.
Yes.
He's a jack of all trades.
Long time since TLS, but things are brewing.
Oh, yes. They're always brewing in the mind of Lil Stevie, the genius that is Lil Stevie. Also, shout out to Chubb Step.
Yes, shout out to Chubb, as usual. Also, shout out to Roto Baller. Read my stuff, get some fantasy advice. Give me some views so I get paid more. Get Lil Stevie a raise.
Lil Stevie a raise. All right, we got you. You got to post that. We'll post that. I mean, we've got to post that on our Bull Predictions page.
True.
Keep you guys posted. We got some fantasy talk later on in the show. Also got to give another shout out to the homies at Stay Woke Sports, the Wake and Take with Lav and Kellen Buddy. Those guys always grinding over there, so go ahead and check out all that good stuff. Plus, there's a bunch of other good podcasts at Public House Media. But, Lil Stevie, it's time to get into it. It's a big week. There's a lot going on this weekend. I am pumped. I know you are pumped. Let's hit it.
This Week in Bold.
Kyrie Irving finally has a home, and it's up there in Boston.
Yes. And a big trade. A big deal that, surprisingly, kind of made sense for both sides.
I want to disagree with you on that already.
Ooh.
I don't like I don't like what Boston got, and that's Kyrie Irving. Like, I don't like why would you give up Jay Crowder? I'm a Marquette guy. That's the biggest loss. I'm not a fan of this trade, to be honest, in Boston's sake. I mean, I know they have a lot of young talent coming up. Kyrie Irving is a top 5 player in the East, but something about Kyrie Irving just doesn't make me like him. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. But I think the Cavs definitely reloaded, and they're ready. It's almost like they knew winter was coming, because when LeBron leaves, they've kind of reamped up.
Yeah. So Cleveland, you got to like it for Cleveland because Irving wanted out. They got a point guard who is A, less long-term, I guess, in case LeBron leaves, and B, pretty close to the same skill set as Irving. I think Irving's a little better, but
Yeah.
you don't need a player of Irving's offensive caliber to be next to LeBron, and Thomas is pretty damn close anyways. They got depth with Crowder, which they desperately needed after this offseason. They got Ante Zizic, who is a wild card, and they got that Brooklyn pick, which is huge because now if LeBron leaves, you got a little hope in there with that pick, even if it's late lottery, still lottery. But in terms of liking it for both sides, we mentioned Jay Crowder. He is kind of expendable because they have so many wings now that they have Tatum and Hayward. That Brooklyn pick, wow, it's kind of a huge asset. The odds of it being better than Kyrie Irving aren't high. You know, they're there, but they're not high. And plus the pick, that weird Lakers-Kings pick that they got from the Sixers, I think makes it a little easier because they're going to have a high lottery pick at some point in the next 2 years. And Kyrie Irving is an upgrade over Isaiah Thomas, plus he's younger. He's got an extra year on his contract, and you're going to be happier paying Kyrie Irving the max over Isaiah Thomas. But here's my problem with it. So, yeah, you can't get rid of Zizic. So everybody got so mad at Kevin Durant for leaving because he had no loyalty. He went to a contender. He didn't want to ride it out with the team that drafted it. He just stayed in his city. And the same thing happened to LeBron when he left Cleveland the first time. No loyalty. You know, he didn't really give it his all. You know what happens when you give it? You know what happens when you give it your all, and you stay loyal to your fan base, and you put your heart on your sleeve for your city, and you show up to a playoff game the day after your sister died. You get traded. This is why you cannot hold shit against players for leaving ever, because the Celtics just traded Isaiah Thomas after he literally he's basically a folk hero in Boston at this point. One of the most beloved Celtics they've ever had. Not the best, but people love this guy, and they dealt him.
I think that brings up even that's what you want out of a player. You want somebody who's going to pour their heart into the city, but there is no loyalty. And the fans have no loyalty. They burn jerseys like crazy. Like that's been the biggest fad. I actually saw a headline today when I was scrolling through the news feed about why it's dumb for people to burn jerseys anymore. I mean, especially LeBron. Like everyone burnt his jersey when he went to Miami. Guess what? He's fucking back already. I mean, he's probably going to be gone again, but he got him a ring. You can never hate LeBron right now.
It's a business for both the players and the owners. The players have to do what's best for them because the owners and the general managers can trade them whenever they want. And, you know, you're going to rather go somewhere where you want to go than, you know, wait and then get traded. And I think Isaiah Thomas will be fine in Cleveland, but it's the flip side to KD in that, you know, he stayed there and he was building something and he was excited about it and then bam. But there's worse landing spots than playing next to LeBron James.
Yeah, I mean, the trade-off is that he gets to play with the best player, the best player in the NBA right now. And he has almost a better shot, I'd say, to win the NBA title than he did on a team that was building up in Cleveland, or not in Cleveland, in Boston.
He definitely has a better chance to win the title.
It was funny to see that the Bucks were actually somewhat of a close contender because the guys that they were going to deal away, Chris Middleton and Malcolm Brogdon for Kyrie. I mean, it's the same thing in Milwaukee. They're trying to build something up. They've got a bunch of young guys. They've got some good shooters. Obviously, you have Giannis that you're building around. He's kind of like, I guess you could compare him to he's the LeBron of Milwaukee. There it is. I said it. Boom.
I mean, it's accurate.
But they're building something up, and I would be a little bit disappointed if we kind of got rid of if we got rid of if we got rid of Chris Middleton and Malcolm Brogdon, because I like Malcolm Brogdon. As you know, Lil Stevie, I like Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah, but you'd be getting Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, it's true. It's true, but I don't know how much better that even makes us.
It's weird for both sides. You're definitely better with Kyrie, but it's like it would be kind of a lateral move for Kyrie because Giannis plays similar to LeBron, and
it's his team.
Yeah, and the Celtics, Hayward's a beast, but Kyrie's going to dominate the ball.
Yeah, and it's Kyrie's team out there.
Yeah, they're going to put him on the billboards. Giannis would still be the face in Milwaukee, but obviously Middleton and Brogdon, actually decent package, but this is the best package Cleveland could have gotten. They got literally a second-team All-Pro player, so they don't really lose a step. I don't know if they get any worse in this trade because they kind of needed the depth with Crowder, and Thomas is not much worse than Kyrie. And on the flip side, this will let them open it up and feed Love a little bit more. But, yeah, so they built for now. What?
Did you see that goofy-ass picture of Kevin Love and Isaiah Thomas?
Yeah. That picture is amazing.
Post that picture. Oh, my gosh. It's like Kevin. They had to be like 16 or 15. And, damn, Isaiah Thomas. Talk about short stuff.
Make that the photo for this week's podcast.
Yeah, I'm going to post that right now, actually, because that picture is legendary. But, I think Cleveland is obviously going to be the number one seed again this year, barring any major injury. And
I think this makes the Celtics a little bit better chance to win because I say Thomas can take over a game, but not like Kyrie can. Mm-hmm. And plus, they also got Gordon Hayward. What do you rate this on the bold scale?
It's not very bold, per se. I would say probably maybe a 3.7 out of 10. I don't think it's bold. It's a bold trade. I think there are good points to make for both sides. I still am not a big Kyrie Irving fan, so I don't know how that's going to pan out for Boston. But long term, they have some young pieces that can, help him make that leap and really make that his team. So yeah, 4.7, right? No, I said 3.7.
I'm gonna give it from the Cleveland side a 0.4 because this is a very good trade for them if they had to trade Kyrie, which they did. That wasn't getting fixed. I'm going to give this an 8.9 for Boston because players don't forget when you do other players dirty. Players don't forget the Dan Gilbert letter. They're not going to forget that Danny Ainge traded Isaiah Thomas like this after that postseason. The players remember.
Little salt after the tequila shot or before the tequila shot.
I get it's a business, you don't know if they're going to trade or pay Isaiah, but that's probably a tough pill to swallow for a lot of guys in that locker room.
Oh yeah, and he's probably that's leadership right there. Yeah. One of the shout out to another Marquette alum, big leader in the locker room, Wesley Matthews. He may not be the best player, but I'm sure when he was playing in Portland, obviously it was Damian Lillard's team, but Wesley Matthews, he was the leader. So it doesn't always have to be the star.
Their only starter they're bringing back is Horford. The other four are gone.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
Horford gathering the team.
Shout out Amir Johnson.
Amir! I feel like we've talked about him on the trade block a couple times.
Amir, he's on Philly.
God bless him.
TTP.
Anyways, obviously we've got the biggest fight, I guess, of the year. McGregor versus Mayweather coming up. We did a lot of talking about it already on our previous podcast, so you can go check that out. But I want to gather your final thoughts, Lil Stevie. Is there anything that you need to say before this fight goes on Saturday night?
Just that set your expectations very low because Conor McGregor probably can't box realistically. But on the bold side of things, hopefully he gets a knockout in the first 2 rounds.
A lot of hype around McGregor right now, and apparently the bets in Vegas right now, the bets have been going to McGregor. Everybody's putting money. So if he does win, he might bankrupt Vegas.
Why would you bet on Mayweather? Because he's such a favorite.
Yeah, that's true. Also, but I don't want our Vegas Golden Knights going out of commission. All right. We gotta make
Stop
sure.
betting.
Stop. Bet on Mayweather. Bet on the ref. Fuck it.
Vegas is gonna get paid off this fight because McGregor is not winning.
You're very adamant about that. I'm gonna revisit my bold prediction. Still holding strong. McGregor wins by decision. It's the boldest take I think I've ever made, and if he does, well, let's just say I'm blacking out that night.
We're taking this podcast to the moon if McGregor wins by decision.
That would be unreal.
They should have gotten like celebrity judges for this fight. Wouldn't that have made it more fun?
Chuck Norris,
Yeah.
Chris,
Michael B. Jordan, Reppin' Creed,
I'm still Chris
Christie, of course.
And then one more judge to throw in there. I was about to throw Ellen DeGeneres in there, but the Mooch. Let's just throw the Mooch in there.
The
Anthony
Mooch.
Scaramucci. The Mooch. We had a epic main event at SummerSlam, and we touched on it in our last podcast at our Game of Thrones roundtable, of course. Will this fight of the century, McGregor-Mayweather, be better than the SummerSlam main event, which was Brock Lesnar versus Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman? We're WWE guys, so we have to touch on this and compare these two.
We're a little biased, but it's definitely not going to be like that. It's going to be more like Big Show versus Floyd Mayweather.
What? That'd be so...
In that, it's probably going to be stupid.
I could see that. I don't know. I'm really praying for it not to be. I hope they just go at it, but that's not Mayweather style. That's more McGregor style. So I guess I'm going to say that this main event at SummerSlam was better.
Like, his fight against Manny Pacquiao was the most boring fight ever. And think about how quickly Manny Pacquiao would probably beat Conor McGregor in a boxing match.
He's like a little jackrabbit. Him and McGregor would be doing that weird arm movement that he's been doing, and Pacquiao just knock his ass out.
How much does this fight cost?
I want to say $99, but I'm not completely sure. Or it's $50. It's one of those two. I'm definitely not going to any of the bars around here because their cover charges are like through the roof for this fight. So if you find a friend, you should definitely head over to their house and maybe split the cost.
Say that this is the best thing.
Yeah, sorry about that woman's voice from me trying to Google the price.
This will be the best fight since WWE SummerSlam's main event.
$100.
Yeah, I was right. $99.99.
They said it could never.
This will not be better than the SummerSlam main event. I will put that in stone.
That was-
Because Conor McGregor ain't going through 3 tables.
No, he's not. Not like Brock Lesnar did. Want to revisit one thing real quick, and it is, are we ever going to see the Juice fight, which is Brock Lesnar versus John Bones Jones? I hope so.
Hey,
Let
you
him
know
do it.
what? We're about to watch Floyd Mayweather fight Conor McGregor. Bones will never fight Brock Lesnar in the UFC, but fuck it. Some producer's going to throw a shitload of money at them and throw his own fight.
That's
Let
gonna,
him juice. Not drug test him. It's bound to happen.
a beach fight would be awesome. Draw lines in the sand, put some ropes up, have like a DJ play before on the beach, and then make that the main event. Everybody gets around, real chill, real sudden, and then boom, the juice fight. Everybody's got grape juice. Everybody's got Capri Suns in hand. Wow, we need to make this happen. The Bold Predictions presents the juice fight.
I bet it happens in Dubai. That's my bold prediction.
They've got beaches there, so we're right on par. We're taking sponsors now, so
Yes.
feel free to give us a call, and we'll set that up for you guys. No, free of charge. Oh wait, no, never mind. No, we need your money.
We definitely need your money.
One more topic to visit in This Week in Bold as the NFL season continues to creep closer and closer. I had my fantasy football draft last night. We did a little thing with DJ Mondo a couple weeks ago, predicting one bold prediction for every team in the NFC, Now we're switching sides to the AFC. Lil Stevie, let's start in the AFC East with the Buffalo Bills.
The Buffalo Bills will have 2 wins.
That is bold. I like that.
Bad Bills.
My bold prediction, Zay Jones is the leading receiver for the Bills.
Nice.
The Miami Dolphins.
Jay Cutler has a better passer rating than Ryan Tannehill did last year.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Smoking Jay.
Smoking Jay. He's really the gunslinger. He's like a poor man's Brett Favre. I'll say that. He is the gunslinger that sometimes misses a lot.
Poor man's Brett Favre is very accurate.
That is probably the most accurate I'll ever get in life. Let's go with I'm going on the fly, and I'm going to say that Julius Thomas has 8 touchdowns this year.
Damn.
That's pretty because he has been quiet ever since he left Denver.
That is bold. I forgot he's on Miami.
People forget. New England Patriots.
Deion Lewis becomes a 3-down back this year.
Ugh, I hate that. I hate that.
It's bold.
It's bold. It is bold, and I don't want that to happen. I'm a James White guy. My bold prediction for the Patriots is that Gronkowski will play all 16 games and all playoff games this year.
Yes, I love it.
He's playing a full season. And the New York Jets, oh, God.
Because they can't even lose right, the Jets win 5 games this year.
What? I'm saying they lose every game this year. They go 0-16.
My boldest prediction of the set. 5 wins for the Jets.
5 wins.
Jets fans are furious about it.
Should have been 6. Oh my God, Jets fans are just. I feel bad, but I don't. They deserve it. AFC North. We'll head up to our neck of the woods. Baltimore Ravens.
That's your neck of the woods. How's that our neck of the woods?
I mean, we're on the East Coast.
We were just talking about the Jets, and then you said head up to our neck of the woods.
Yeah, I don't know why I said that. AFC North, all the same shit.
Yeah, true. North sticking in Milwaukee. For the Ravens, Jeremy Maclin finishes as a top 12 fantasy receiver.
I like that. Shout out to Stin Lenz for making that draft pick last night, Jeremy Maclin. I saw that. Don't think I slept on that. I thought for sure he was going to take Cameron Meredith because he's a Chicago guy, but went with Jeremy Maclin. Smart move, maybe. We'll see if it pays off. My bold prediction for the Baltimore Ravens is that Danny Woodhead has an 1,000-yard season.
Beautiful. Just rushing or total yards?
Just rushing.
Oh, just making sure it's bold.
Oh, you already know, man. Cincinnati Bengals.
John Ross has under 300 yards.
Wow, that is bold. Everybody's been hyping him up, man.
I don't get it, man. He's just fast.
Yeah, that's Dalton. When you watch Andy Dalton play, he can throw a long ball every now and then, but it's not as consistent as like an Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady. So I don't see anything there. With the Cincinnati Bengals, I'm gonna say that Giovanni Bernard somehow works his way back into the running back battle and becomes the number 1 running back.
Whew. I like that.
Even though I drafted Joe Mixon last night. Oh, my God. Going against myself. The Cleveland Browns.
Cody Kessler leads the Browns in starts.
Oh. I'm going to say DeShone Kizer becomes the quarterback that the Browns have been looking for.
I would agree with that, but I tried to be a little bold.
Let me do another bold.
Nah, that's still bold. I want to rep my boy Cody.
Is Gary Barnidge still on the Browns?
No, I don't even think he played in the NFL last year.
Okay, I just had to make sure.
Gary Barnkowski.
1 season of glory, and that was it.
Oh, he played in the Browns last year. Not on a team right now.
Yeah, that sounds about right. You know, he joins the Browns again. Finishing it off with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I prepared all my bold predictions, and honestly, I couldn't think of anything for the Steelers. They're so, like, known.
My bold prediction is that James Conner has at least 7 touchdowns.
Ooh, that is bold.
Both passing and receiving. Both receiving and rushing. I can't do all rushing.
How about this? Mark Davis Bryant gets a life suspension this year.
Oh, that's bold. Moving out to the West, we'll start with the Denver Broncos.
Paxton Lynch starts by week 8.
Yep, that's pretty bold. I'm not a big Trevor Siemian guy, anyways. I'm gonna say Demaryius Thomas has 4 touchdowns this year.
Damn, bold.
Yeah, I'm not hyped on the Broncos. Kansas City Chiefs. I want to say that Alex Smith has 25 throwing touchdowns.
To stick on topic, Pat Mahomes doesn't throw a pass.
That's a good one. Thanks for complimenting. Bold compliments right there.
Complimentary bold.
LA Chargers.
Win a playoff game.
Now that is bold. I drafted Antonio Gates right now, so I want to just bask in the fact that he will return to his great form, and he will have 7 touchdown catches.
We will discuss some of the Chargers offense later, but I think they're loaded.
Ooh, Philip Rivers got to feed all those kids.
A lot of talent down there.
You're pretty hyped on your neighbors, I guess, as you say, since you are an LA Rams fan.
I'm scared we might lose the Battle of LA, but nobody gives a shit about the Chargers. You see that preseason game? No one went.
Yeah, there's no love in LA for them. The Rams kind of took all that. We'll finish with the Oakland Raiders or Las Vegas Raiders. Can we say that soon? When can we say that? I want to say it now. I'm going to say it now.
Vegas Raiders. Marshawn Lynch loses his job at some point this year and doesn't win it back.
I have a similar suit, and that's Michael Crabtree only catches 1 touchdown.
Whoa.
Yeah, I went there. I don't think he's that
bold.
good.
I like the Crab, man. He was
I
good
don't hate
last
him.
year.
I don't love him. I'm not a fan of him. He's only catching 1 touchdown. Moving down south, the Texans. Ugh.
14 sacks for J.J. Watt and Jadeveon Clowney.
Ooh, you're hyped on that defense, broski.
Yes.
And my bold prediction, C.J. Federowicz has 8 touchdown catches.
Nice.
Indianapolis Colts.
Frank Gore rushes 280 times.
Yep. I'm going to say the Colts finish 3-13.
Wow. Bold.
They don't look very well, and their offensive line is kind of a trash heap, and the fact that Andrew Luck isn't back yet would scare me if I was a Colts fan.
I concur.
Jacksonville.
I think they'll win a couple more games.
3-13. Jacksonville Jaguars.
Sign Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, I was talking to a coworker about that today. They're going to sign Colin Kaepernick. Going off that, Allen Robinson asked to be traded in the middle of the season.
Wow. It would probably be wise.
That's not bold. Let me rebold that. I'm going to say, I don't even know, dude. I don't even like the Jaguars right now. Like, everything about them just is disgusting. You know what? I'll just stick with it. Screw it.
It's bold. I don't think it'll happen, but it makes sense. And one take on the Jags real quick. Like, most teams kind of have reasons not to sign Kaepernick. If you enter the season with all your quarterbacks healthy and you're starting Chad Henne and you have no prospects behind him, you should probably sign Colin Kaepernick.
Agreed. They need to sign him, dude. That quarterback situation, when Bortles is throwing passes straight out of bounds, like, Nah, son. Nah.
What did they think was going to happen?
That's what happens when you draft hometown talent. He's gonna get shit on, dude. Where's he gonna go?
He'll be a backup somewhere, but he's not a starter.
Yep. And finally, the Tennessee Titans.
12 touchdowns for Eric Decker.
Ooh, I'm gonna do a little opposite of you and say Corey Davis, primary receiver for the Titans, and he has 10 touchdowns.
Ooh.
I'm
What if I
hyped
told you
on
they
him.
both were true?
What if I told you that the Titans had a miraculously a team from Nashville?
What if I told you?
ESPN Old Spice presents Marcus Mariota, the Hawaiian Truth. And that rounds out all of our AFC bowl predictions. Tweet us your AFC bowl predictions. Anything you wanna lay on us? Send us a little tweet, a little birdie tweet, or maybe even a little Facebook post. We'd love to see what you guys have to say. I think it's time to move on to one of my favorite segments and a little controversy this weekend, Lil Stevie.
We do have a little controversy.
Behold, watch.
So ESPN has taken Robert E. Lee, the Confederate general. Just kidding. JK. He is a broadcaster for them, and he had the UVA William and Mary game, which is strictly Virginia teams, and he was set to broadcast this. But as of late, as of this week, they have pulled him off of the game because of his name, because of safety reasons. Do you think this is a bold move, Lil Stevie, or do you think there was some sort of controversy looming that they didn't want to deal with?
Yeah, and I also heard that this guy pulled himself because he kind of saw the irony. Here's the thing. Yes, it's dumb that people get offended by that. But if that happened, memes immediately, and people will be making a huge deal about it. I mean, think about... I'm assuming you saw the auction draft that they did the other week.
Yeah, that was wow.
So, but like, if everybody in the meeting is just fantasy football people and they're like, yeah, let's do a live auction draft, like, that'll be cool for the fantasy thing. In theory, it's like, yeah, sure, that's fine, and that shouldn't be offensive because people know what auction drafts are. And then you see it, and it's just like, how did nobody say that was a bad idea? And this is kind of the same concept in that the auction draft shouldn't be offensive because you know that an auction draft is a thing that happens in fantasy football all the time. And then when you see a room of white people waving flags in a courtyard with Odell Beckham's face at the podium, and then you're like, yeah, not a good look. I just think it's kind of the same thing. Like, who cares? I'm glad that they are not doing it, and if they did, they would have been a joke and probably had to apologize for no reason.
We are living in a very sensitive time right now where everybody gets offended about everything. I will say there's one easy fix to this, Lil Stevie. Just go by Rob Lee. Like, no one, I don't think, or Bob Lee. Even better, go by Bob Lee. Don't have the E, drop the Bert, or Bert Lee. Like, there's so many little fixes that he could have had for this game. And think about it. I mean, obviously, we would... there might be a couple memes out there. There might be a couple posts, couple of angry viewers, but I feel like ESPN kind of made a little bit more of an ass out of themselves by deliberately pulling. And if it was him that pulled himself off, then never mind. But like to have this kind of come out, a lot of people are just they picked up their torches and they're marching in towards ESPN like, wow, like this is so offensive, like. I think there's little fixes that you can make, and no one would really notice. Like, I'm not going to watch a UVA William and Mary game, but if I was, I wouldn't notice Rob Lee was calling a game. I mean, how often does the broadcaster really say their name in a broadcast? Maybe, 4 or 5 times?
Yeah, you know what would have solved all these problems? If, no matter which side of this made the decision, just don't announce it. Because, if you didn't announce it, there's no way anyone would be talking about a random, what was it, college baseball game in Charlottesville?
Oh, college football.
Oh, yeah. No one will be talking about this. Just switch the announcer with somebody else.
That's even better, Lil Stevie. See, we should be a PR team. Like, either change the name around or just don't announce it. Like, I don't know why they had to make a big deal out of it.
It shouldn't be a big deal no matter if he called it or not. And if he did call it, people would have found a way to make it a big deal. And they shouldn't just not announce it.
Yeah, and all they had to do was switch him to a different game. Like, I don't know, somewhere else. An Alaska.
Swap him with anybody.
Yeah, with
anybody.
Any team. So I guess we've just like solidified our PR brilliance. One more thing to talk about in Bold Watch, and we did a little Facebook poll. We've been hardcore Game of Thrones pretty much this whole season 7, from having full episodes to talking about everything Thrones to having a Lord Frey and a Grand Maester on the show. Clegane, it's confirmed. The hype is real. Believe it. So we wanted to check with some of our fans, you know, who do they think is going to win Clegane in this final episode of Game of Thrones? So it looks like we had 7 votes for the Hound. We had 4 votes for DeAndre Taylor. We had 2 votes for long-lost brother Chuck. We had 1 vote for Daniel Craig cameo. We had another vote for Mohawk Dave. Only 1 vote for the Mountain, Lil Stevie.
Because the Mountain's not going to win.
He's a zombie.
The Hound has to win, and I am so glad Clegane Bowl is about to happen, and I'm worried what the world will look like post Clegane Bowl. Will hype have consumed us all? Find out on Sunday night.
I really don't think I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna survive, dude. Like, ever since I've started to dive deeper and deeper into the study of Clegane Bowl, I've been consumed by it. By the hype videos. The hype is real, man.
The hype is so real. Hype is all there is.
Better believe the hype. Better bold leave the hype. Game of Thrones season finale. If you don't watch it, well, we didn't really have any spoilers, I guess, but outside of Clegane Bowl. But they don't. If you don't watch the show, you wouldn't know who they are. So. And
if you didn't know Clegane Bowl was confirmed, you were in the wrong place.
It's not only confirmed, it's fucking confirmed.
It's 100% fucking confirmed, and it has been for years. And Tom and the Hype Slayer tried to cancel Clegane Bowl, but you can never cancel Clegane Bowl.
What is bold may never die.
What is bold may never die.
Lil Stevie, I've got a little call out. It has very literal term to go on with Bold Watch. And I want to call out all those semi-celebrities on Twitter and Instagram and whatever who follow people, and they expect you to follow them back. So they'll get the follow, and then they'll unfollow you. All you semi-celebrity motherfuckers, I'm screenshotting all of you. I'm going after you. There's blood in the water. There's a real Bold Watch. No one pay respect to these people. They don't deserve it.
People with that blue check that aren't famous are the most entitled people on the fucking planet. And you're the worst people on Twitter besides parody accounts. Alright? You're not famous just because you have internet followers. Unless you're doing it full time for a living. Unless you are literally an influencer that gets paid. You're not entitled because you have a blue check. Fuck off.
And
the only thing worse is that stupid wisdom account that tweets, fucking influential quotes under a Wiz Khalifa name. Let me read some tweets from. Let me read off some tweets from Wisdom once I pull it up.
Please do. I will say that if I catch you, I'm screenshotting your ass, and I'm just gonna keep posting the hell out of it. We're an ELE podcast out here, and those marketing influencers that you were talking about, and those Instagram and those social media influencers. They're usually ELE, Lil Stevie. Follow for follow, like for like.
So let me read some tweets from the worst person on the internet, 1 million followers for at Wiz Khalifa with a couple L's. 1 million followers. Train yourself to see good in every situation. The 3 most important words. Life goes on. If it comes, let it. If it goes, let it.
Boo.
Success is no accident. It takes hard work, persevering, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, love of what you're doing. If I see any of these stupid fucking tweets come across my timeline because you feel the need to get your wisdom from a Wiz Khalifa parody account, you will not only be unfollowed, you will be blocked, and I will never talk to you again.
Yes. Shots fired from bold predictions, baby. We're out here. Got some heat in the streets.
Some people.
Some people, man. And I have been seeing a lot of them lately. And I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. And I hope our listeners don't like it. And if you're one of those people and you're a listener, we'll keep listening, obviously, but just stop it. All right? We'll find you. We always do. We're bold.
Cut it out.
Anyways, let's move on. I've got a quick bold, Lil Stevie. Had my first ever sushi burrito bowl this past week.
Thoughts?
It was a little bold. Shout out to Lil Chef A out here in DC. She is a little feisty Italian gal who loves to cook. Go ahead and follow her on Instagram at Lil Chef A. She took me there, had a little lunch, and it was just like an interesting combination of, it's raw meat, but like the amount of spices and you know, you have your rice and your lettuce, and it really all just came together. You know, it's almost like it really is like getting like something from Chipotle or Qdoba, but you just have to remember it's raw meat. But like the meat is so well seasoned, and there's so many different spices. Like you can get mango habanero, or you know, there's different Asian spices that you can utilize. Pretty good. I'm gonna say on the bold scale, I'd say probably 6.2.
I like it. I like sushi, but I think anything like more than just a couple rolls gets into bolder territory. Like sushi burritos are pretty bold.
Yeah, I've heard of horror stories, like especially a sushi burrito. Like you can take a bite and you might get all raw meat and like not as much rice. With this, you could really scramble it around, so you'd be tasting the raw meat, but it's almost like a delicate complement of rice and, you know, whatever type of lettuce or, you know, carrots or sesame seeds or whatever they got on there. Like they all just kind of complement each other. Not amazing, doesn't blow you out of the water, but it's just enough.
Yeah.
It's just enough.
I like it.
It was an interesting. You got any bold for us?
No, not today. I had some shitty mac and cheese from a mac and cheese place, but I don't really feel like describing it.
How do you fuck up mac and cheese? That's what
all right, I guess we'll talk about it. I went to this place where we went to SmackDown last night, me and Juliana. Shout out her, shout out Vince McMahon. And we were going to go to a sushi place, but we actually went to the wrong one, and then we kind of walked. We saw this little mac and cheese place outside, looked pretty cute. We went there. I ordered a hamburger, mac and cheese. Now, when you order this, you'd expect, you know, all the ingredients to be mixed together, right?
Yeah.
So the cheese and the meat were kind of mixed together, or the macaroni and the meat, and then they slapped a layer of just a slice of American cheese on top of it, and then on top of that they threw some pickles, and then on top of that they threw the lettuce. So they didn't like cook it all together. They just slapped a piece of American cheese on the top after, and it was pretty average.
That sounds just lazy.
Yeah, it was like depressing. It should have been better.
If you're gonna do more for mac and cheese, like add maybe some pulled pork, or let's say something, you know, maybe some breadcrumbs and you know, I don't know, whatever else you can kind of mix with mac and cheese that really like complements each other.
Yeah, I mean, I've had cheeseburger mac and cheese from better places, and it's bomb. Shout out to Mac Daddy's in Monroe, Connecticut. Great cheeseburger mac and cheese. You go there, order the Mac Daddy if you're ever in Monroe. But this was just, it was lazy. It was shitty. I've had better. A specialty mac and cheese place should know better.
Indeed, especially if you're gonna make that your vocal point.
Yeah. If you're a mac and cheese restaurant, you gotta know what you're doing.
Do your job.
Do your job.
Lil Stevie, we are big fantasy football guys. As I mentioned earlier, I had my first fantasy football draft last night. A little 16-team action. We ain't out here playing no games. But we need to talk about a couple different players, if you don't mind. Let's get into it, man. Let's
do it.
Let's hit some questions first, and then we'll get into some of these players.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about Ezekiel, Mr. Alleged Woman Beater. All right, that aside, how high do you think you can take him in the draft without it being bold, knowing that he might have a 6-game suspension?
I think the highest you can go, he went kind of early in my draft last night, but you could probably, I'd say 3rd round is where I would take Zeke, but I would want a handcuff right away. So
Yeah.
I'm already thinking I have to take Darren McFadden if I'm taking Zeke Elliott, and I can't let him slip. Like, I can't let Darren McFadden slip. Of course, it depends on what type of league you're in. If you're in an 8-person league, you can probably draft another RB1, let Zeke kind of sit on the bench. But my gut would say 3rd round is probably the highest you can go.
Yeah, I'd say if we're talking 12-team league, if you get him on the flip, like if you had a top 3 pick and you get him on the flip into the 3rd round, I think that's a pretty good spot to take Zeke, because you'd imagine you'd have, David Johnson and then another very good player, and then you could get Zeke and you could safely keep him on the bench. 2nd round, I think, is bold. It's pretty bold because you're not going to have him for 6 games.
Yeah, that is definitely a bold move on your part, and unless you're like you have a talent for discovering players who might be like a next breakout running back. That's so dangerous. I mean, that could. People say that your fantasy team is made or broken with the first 2 picks. That's not completely true, but if you're going to take Ezekiel Elliott with that 2nd pick, I mean, you're basically you're giving up 6 games. You're giving up half of your fantasy football season.
Yeah, but he is good, and I think it'll get reduced to 4 games max. I can't imagine him sitting out 6.
Yeah, I can't either. And also, Dallas's offensive line, I think they've recharged a little bit, but they aren't. I don't think they're going to be what they were last year.
That's
so
bold.
That's also another risk you have to take. I mean, it is the Dallas offensive line. You do have you have Travis Frederick, you have a couple other guys, but I don't think it's going to be what it was last year.
Yeah, we'll see. I guess we'll have to see how it plays out.
Indeed. So 2nd round, if you take Zeke, you're bold. If you take him in the 3rd, probably a smart move. But definitely
any later than the 3rd is a very good pick.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I mean, if you're deciding between Ezekiel Elliott and Carlos Hyde, like know what you're gonna do.
Okay. Yes. Who you have for some bold rookie sleepers, Lil Stevie?
Yeah, so couple deep sleepers, I guess, out in Tampa Bay. We're hearing a lot of buzz about their offense. Chris Godwin, I have heard from my insider Buck fan sources. Wide receiver, going to be good if he sees the field enough. Young guy out of Penn State. If he beats out Adam Humphries for the slot and that offense gets cooking, watch out. He's got some potential. And I know you have a deep sleeper that I much enjoy.
Oh, I do, and I took him last night in my draft. I love Cooper Kupp, dude.
Cooper.
He is a LA Rams receiver, and I know there's a lot of hype around Sammy Watkins. You've got Robert Woods out there, but I think this Cooper Kupp kid is going to be something special.
Cooper Kupp looking like he's going to be the starting slot receiver. Our apologies to Tavon Austin. A lot of potential, assuming that the Rams offense also gets cooking. Even with Sammy Watkins there, the Rams coach was the Redskins' offensive coordinator last year, and they had 3 receivers go over 800 yards. So pretty easily, if Kupp comes out swinging, you can imagine he hits that mark.
But, dude, it's Tavon Austin's breakout year. Oh, God. Rest in peace to those takes a long time ago.
Aaron Donald is holding out, and we're paying Tavon Austin $8 million.
Oh, my gosh. Another rookie I want to talk about. We've already talked about him a little bit. Corey Davis. I'm pretty hyped on him. I think he's something that could be special for the Titans. Obviously, they have Eric Decker, Delaney Walker. You have a solid
Matthews.
Rashard Matthews, who was their lead receiver last year. And you have a solid run game. But, don't let Corey Davis fly under the radar. He's a big physical receiver. He's got some speed. He's got quite a bit of speed. And just because he came out of Western Michigan doesn't mean he's going to be some sort of trash,
Yes.
Row the boat, baby.
I like Corey Davis. And also, as you mentioned earlier, Zay Jones looking like he might be the number 1 option in Buffalo.
Never been sold on Jordan Matthews. And, I like that. Zay Jones has a lot of potential, I think, up there in Buffalo. The only problem is you have Tyrod Taylor throwing the ball. Not the greatest.
Yeah, but somebody's got to get the ball.
True. Maybe it'll be Zay Jones, or maybe it'll just be LaShawn McCoy carrying the whole team on his back.
Yeah. So, how about we get into a little, is it bold? In which we're going to say, is it bold to draft these players at their current ADP, average draft position, for you noobs out there?
Hit him.
Let's start with Mike Evans at 7, the 4th receiver off the board.
He has been going high from mock drafts. He's been going right around there. I think that's bold to take him that high. I'm not sold on Mike Evans. I'm always an AJ Green guy. I don't care what anyone says. And if you're taking Mike Evans before AJ Green, I don't know. I'm not sold on that.
Yeah, that's the biggest gripe for me. I don't think it tilts the bold scale too much, but I think it's a little bold because I'd rather have Green. I'd rather have Devonta Freeman. I might even rather have Melvin Gordon or Jordan Howard, who, shout out to Jordan Howard, is slipping in drafts that I've done in mocks. Mike Evans is good. There might be more options around him. I think he's a little inconsistent. I don't know if his numbers last year are sustainable. A little bold to take him there, but if you like him, I wouldn't lose sleep over it.
A couple question marks about Jameis Winston, too. I mean, yes, Mike Evans is a great receiver, but I'm not completely sold on Jameis Winston yet. I'll be honest. He's not my favorite quarterback, but I know he's got potential. Him and Marcus Mariota, this is kind of their year to really, really prove themselves. I mean, you look at Marcus Mariota, he's surrounded by talent. There's no reason why the Titans shouldn't win their division, and they should at least make the playoffs. As for the Bucs, they have a little bit of a tougher road with Atlanta down there, but I still think they have the possibility to make a wild card, seeing that Jameis Winston actually has a pretty good season. So I'm not completely sold on him yet. That's why I won't go Evans. I'd honestly take Jordy Nelson over Mike Evans.
Jameis Winston has shown shades of Eli Manning, which, when it comes to quarterbacks, is the most backhanded compliment you could ever give one.
It really is, dude. That's from the clouds right there. Give yourself a bold star.
Ding! Haven't set that up yet. Let's move on. We can talk about Jameis later. Who do we got next?
We got Doug Baldwin.
Oh, Doug Baldwin going at 26 and the 11th receiver off the board. So I kind of torched Doug Baldwin last week, and I will admit he didn't deserve as much hate as I gave him. But Doug Baldwin at this high is absolutely 100% bold still. And, he has been good the last few years. He's been great. But you look at the guys in the Doug Baldwin range, and you got T.Y. Hilton, Amari Cooper, Brandon Cooks, DeAndre Hopkins, even Terrell Pryor. Doug Baldwin has a high floor, but when you're taking a guy, you're going to be taking Doug Baldwin in the second or the early third. You want a guy that can believably be in like the top 7 or 8 receivers. Doug Baldwin, he's just not that great of an NFL player. He's fine. He's getting opportunities, and in fantasy, I know that's good, but when you're drafting, as important as volume is, you want guys that pass the eye test. And I think, I can't feasibly sit here and take Doug Baldwin over DeAndre Hopkins ever.
Not only that, but when you think of the Seattle Seahawks, the first person that comes to mind, the first player that I want on the Seahawks is Jimmy Graham. It's not even Doug Baldwin.
Yeah.
Like, Jimmy Graham, I think, is always slept on, and he's just such a solid tight end. Doug Baldwin, honestly, I feel bad last night. Shout out Alex Velitis for accidentally auto-drafting Doug Baldwin. ESPN Light Fantasy kind of screwed him on that. He really didn't want to take Doug Baldwin, ended up with his second pick. Very frustrated. Sorry about that, bud. I'm not sold on Doug Baldwin. I think this is bold to take him even at that high.
Agreed. Next up, Terrell Pryor, 34 ADP, 15th for receivers.
And the thing with Terrell Pryor right now, he's good. Lil Stevie, he's good. But when you look at that offense out there in where I live, why would I say out there? Here in Washington, you have Kirk Cousins, who's still fluttering on the line of being a good quarterback and being a decent quarterback. Right now, he's pretty much decent. You look at kind of what they've got out there in terms of options. Jordan Reed is the first guy that comes to mind. And then you also have some young bloods. I mean, Jamison Crowder had a pretty solid season last year. He'll be looking to expand on that. Josh Doxson's hungry. He needs to make a name for himself. And on top of that, Terrell Pryor is learning a brand new offense. I'm not sure if it was similar to Cleveland, but Cleveland's a shit show. So I think Terrell Pryor, 34, not a terrible position to take him. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's bold, but I wouldn't take him there. And I agree with everything you said. He's good. That offense is, if they don't miss a beat from last year, they're going to be cooking. But there's still a lot of mouths to feed. And he's a guy I like if he falls a little bit, but 34 is a bit steep.
So you're saying that's not bold?
It's kind of bold, but not like super bold. If you like Terrell Pryor and you take him there, I wouldn't, blink twice about it. But I would like him a little more if he falls a bit.
Yeah, I'm definitely saying not bold on that. Moving on to Keenan Allen, who you're hyped about. You're hyped about the Chargers. I hate Keenan Allen. He's projected, his ADP is 41, 17th receiver. Nope, I think that's bold to take him even that high. He's going to get injured again. Don't care what anyone says.
I am taking Keenan Allen in all the leagues I can. I know he hasn't played really in like almost 2 years, but this guy is good at football. He's got a good quarterback. He's in a good offense, and he's the clear number one option. I like him. He slips in most drafts at that ADP. I don't think it's bold at all because I think he's we saw what Tyrell Williams did last year, Tyrell Williams, and Keenan Allen's better than him. And, Keenan Allen has had 2 different injuries, which, A, is good because it's not recurring, but on the flip side is bad because he has multiple things that have gotten injured. So, I don't think it's bold. I like Keenan Allen. I like a lot of the guys in the Chargers offense.
Ooh, okay. I still got to stick with my guns. He's bold. He's injury prone.
Yeah. It's probably bold, but I'm full on the Keenan Allen hype train.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop. No. How about Marshawn Lynch, 25th overall, 12th running back?
He's been going really high. Like, he's been falling into that RB2, depending on what type of league you're in, RB2, RB1 spot, and people are hyped on Marshawn Lynch. I love his persona. I love everything he brings to the table, but that's bold.
Yeah, the 12th ranked running back and 25th overall for a guy that didn't play last year and wasn't good the last time he played. I would like him a lot more if he was getting drafted around like the 40 range, 4th or 5th round. I'm not taking him even near where his ADP is. It's super bold. He wasn't good the last time he played, and he didn't play last year.
Yeah, and it's always a risk for a player he's sat a year out. Like, granted, this is Marshawn Lynch. He's a monster, but you never know, like, coming back. He's very topsy-turvy, so I think, that's definitely bold. This next guy that we're going to talk about, Christian McCaffrey, 29th ADP, 14th running back. I don't really get that. Like, he's a great running back. I think it's bold to take him that high.
It's super bold to take him that high.
I still like Jonathan Stewart. Like, I don't know why everyone's down on him.
Jonathan Stewart's still there. Cam Newton is the goal line running back, and honestly, one of the top options in their offense. They've had like 1,000-yard rusher in the past couple years, maybe 2. It's going to be a committee. McCaffrey is good. He's talented. Eventually, he will be the workhorse back. But even when he becomes that, Cam Newton's going to get the ball on the goal line. And this year, I really think that him and Jonathan Stewart are going to split carries more than people think. And while I like McCaffrey and I think he'll be a decent fantasy option, 29 is insane for a guy that's not going to be the workhorse and hasn't proven that he can even play in the NFL.
Exactly. Yep. That we can agree on that one, Lil Stevie.
Amen.
I like this next one. Shout out Brendan Keeney. The Cleveland Browns, Isaiah Crowell, ADP at 30. MP is the 15th ranked running back. People are sleeping on this Browns offensive line, but they have re-upped, man. I mean, they have one of the best. They have the best tackle in the game, Joe Thomas. I mean, this is going to be a pretty decent run game, I think, this year for the Browns. Granted, obviously, they have not been good, and it's the Browns. You never know what to expect, but I think this is the year the Browns start inching towards whatever they're trying to build. I like Isaiah Crowell that high. I don't think it's bold to take him at 30.
Crowell is kind of like Doug Baldwin in that you're taking volume over talent, but Cleveland bolstered their line a little bit this year, and he's going to get the ball a lot, and it's easier for running backs to be consistent than it is for receivers. And while I don't know if I would take Crowell at 30, it's not bold because, guys like Christian McCaffrey are going in that range, and if you wanted just a safe pick, high floor, still a solid ceiling, even if it's not through the roof, Crowell is not a bad choice there. It's not bold, though.
Not only that, and the quarterback situation still isn't figured out, so you know that he's going to be getting the ball. It's not even a question. I mean, it's definitely not a bold pick at that point. Mike Gillislee on the Patriots. He is ADP is at 62, the 24th ranked running back. That's a committee out there in New England, and I don't want any part of it. I think that's bold to take him even that high.
He's never proven that he's actually that good. He got a bunch of touchdowns last year just by default because LaShawn McCoy was hurt. And B, they have 4 running backs right now. They're all decently talented and all might make the team and all will have roles. And, LeGarrette Blount, I'm sorry, was a total fluke last year. You think Mike Gillislee's going to take over his production. He's not scoring 18 touchdowns. All right?
Yeah,
not happening.
No way.
It's bold. No way.
I don't think Gillislee is even that good of a running back to begin with. I mean, I'll be honest. I still think I think you're right, and Deion Lewis is going to probably have a pretty strong year. James White is still a pretty good running back. I mean, when you have an offensive line like the Patriots do, and you have a quarterback in Tom Brady, I mean, they can really balance that offense. They don't really need to rely too much on the run game, especially when you have 4 running backs. Like, they're going to split a lot of time and a lot of value. So I think it's bold to take Gillislee even that high at 62.
Agreed. And following him, we got Bilal Powell, 63 overall, 25th ADP. This is an interesting one because I don't really think he's that good. And Matt Forte, people forget that he's there. But especially in PPR, Powell put up decent numbers last year. There's not a lot of competition in this offense with him to just get touches, even if it's through the passing game. He's going to get a lot of volume, I feel like. And at 63, this is normally 6th round, I think, in a 12-team league.
Yeah, I think so.
Not a bad pick. Not bold. Not bold for Powell.
Not bold. Also, Forte has been battling some injuries too. So, I mean, and you look at the Jets in general, just kind of a shit show. So, if you can get him as like maybe a RB3, a bench player, that's probably pretty good, depending on what type of league you're in. I would not want him as my RB2 or even my flex. Personally, I don't think I touched a single Jets player this year.
Yeah, there's not a lot of value on the Jets at all in terms of competent fantasy players.
Finishing it off with a kicker, another New England Patriot, Steven Gostkowski. ADP's at 106. He is the best kicker.
I am just going to say, if you take a kicker at 106, you're a moron, and everybody else thanks you for being in their fantasy league.
Granted, I'm in a 16-team league. I was surprised at the amount of kickers that were going before the last round. Like, why are you taking a kicker? I got Nick Novak. He's not even a terrible kicker, like, for the Texans. And
in defense of the kickers, Matt Bryant won me leagues last year. But don't take a kicker before, at the absolute earliest, like the 13th round. And I'm not taking a kicker till the 15th.
I'm not taking a kicker until the last round.
Yeah, agreed.
So, yeah, if you take him at 106, well, you're bold. You're bold or you're dumb. You know what? You're dumb.
Yes.
I went there. Boom.
You're dumb if you take a kicker in the 10th round.
Lil Stevie.
How about...
Oh, yeah. Hit him.
Q&A?
Yeah.
Thank you to all that gave us questions. And the first one comes from Michael Biermeister. Does Clegane Bowl have enough hype?
Easy answer. No, it does not have enough hype. It needs more hype.
The bowl was in full hype tilt last season. It's died a little. We need to get it back up. And, Clegane Bowl's happening in a couple days. It's happening, boys. Get hype. What is hype man ever die? Clegane Bowl coming.
Also, get to Popeyes, get to your KFC, make sure you have enough chicken for Clegane Bowl.
Because I want to eat every fucking chicken in my room.
Hell yeah.
Steve Ribeiro asked, worst trade, the Kyrie deal or Danny trading a dragon for a wit?
Oh, my bold instincts want to say the Kyrie trade, but Danny did trade a dragon.
They got a dragon killed to bring a dead person to King's Landing. What are they doing?
To prove to someone who's probably already going to fight them regardless that White Walkers exist. Well, she already has a White Walker, not even a White Walker, a zombie in Clegane Bowl.
True.
So that's bold.
And we talked about that in depth last week. They don't need Cersei.
Yeah.
Andrew Samarius, the worst decision to put a Chick-fil-A in the new stadium in Atlanta. We also talked about that last week. Super bold, weird move.
Yeah, very weird move, very bold move. Chick-fil-A, just be open on Sundays. Just do it.
Adam Brown, is Nick Foles elite? 27-2, all I got to say.
27. Nick Foles is going to the Hall of Fame.
True. Anthony Bassetti, better long-term potential, Bitcoin or Ethereum?
I got into a long conversation at the office. I'm going to say Bitcoin.
I'm going to say the latter because I haven't heard of it. I have, but not really. And that means the market's probably lower. And it's probably a better time to invest. So I don't know.
Or what happens if your investments go belly up?
True.
Bitcoin's established.
That's true.
The bold move is Urethrum or whatever it was called.
Yeah, I'm staying on brand. I'm going with Ethereum.
Okay.
Somebody tweet us the correct pronunciation. Michael Watson, on a scale of 1 to yes, how excited are you for the new T-Swift album? And he put a little snake emoji in there. Shout out little Mikey. 1, because Taylor Swift is a liar and a snake and a terrible musician.
I'm going to go with a 1 as well, because of everything that Lil Stevie said. I'm a Kanye West guy.
Truth. And another question from friend of the show, Michael Biermeister. Can Connor Gosa climb the Milwaukee Art Museum?
Yes, he can. I'm gonna put that on. That kid can climb literally anything. So, Gosa, do it.
There you go, Ghost. Shout out Firefly. Former host, Eskimo host Jared Smolik, is Mahmoud Abdul Rauf the truth? Guy played in the Big Three at like 48. Absolutely the truth.
Oh, no doubt. I remember him playing in the NBA. That is one of the greatest names I think the NBA will ever see. So, shout out to Mama Abdul Rauf.
Yes. Pat Flanagan, would Michael from The Wire have been able to work well with Omar? You can't put two lone wolves on the same team, man. It doesn't work. They wouldn't have been able to work well together.
Yeah, Omar doesn't work with fucking anyone, dude. I don't know. I mean, they should fight each other. That would be badass. Two lone wolves going at it.
Yeah. I think they did fight each other a little when Michael was on Team Marlowe. But
Ooh.
Michael went lone wolf at the end of the show.
Shout out The Wire.
Yeah. Shout out president of the Golden Knights fan club, Austin Lenz. Is the bird the word?
Obviously, the bird is the word.
Truth. And
Houston.
last...
Bird is the word.
Last question from Bold Elder Danny Dorrance. How hot is Kelly Nash from MLB Network? Scale 1 to 10. I'm not going to look up a picture of her, and I'm just going to guess that she is a 8.25.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not familiar with the name, but I'm sure she is gorgeous. She's probably an awesome person, probably a killer. You said from the MLB Network?
Yes.
Probably a killer reporter or anchor, or whatever she does over there. So, yeah, probably I'll just say like a 7.79.
Very bold.
Repeating itself, of course.
Yeah. That's all we had for questions. Thank you all for asking. Tweet us questions or text us or Facebook them as the week goes, and we will put them on the show.
Be sure to throw some likes over at Stay Woke Sports and Public House Media. We all have a voice.
We all have a voice.
And that voice is to stay bold.
Stay bold. Oh, final bold prediction. Clegamble happens. Cersei still dies. Arya lives.
Retweet.
Stay bold.
Stay bold.